What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. Happy Monday to the whole community. I hope you're well. Great weekend for the Gooners as Arsenal went 3-point collecting at Watford. And I have to admit, probably some of the best goals that I've seen this season at Arsenal, and definitely a positive day for Arsenal. Can we get that top four, people? Are you starting to believe? Are you starting to hear that Champions League music in the background, like Web Creatives is saying? I'm starting to dream of a 5-1 defeat at home to Bayern Munich. We are close, people. We are close. Now, I'm joking, by the way. Them days, if we get back in the Champions League, I can't lie. I don't want to see 5-1s against Bayern Munich. But we do have to add balance to everything. As much as we're doing well, I think we've got bigger and more difficult tests in the future. But listen, as I always say, people, you have to add balance to everything in life. And if I can criticize when things go wrong, I have to enjoy when things go right. That is for sure. Big up my like Kev. Hope you're well, my bro. He said, Curtis on a late thing. Come on, man. Lateness is greatness, Kev. Big up to Kev. Good weekend for the Gooners. And, man, I'm starting to believe, but I better not. I don't want to get carried away. We've got a tough week ahead of us. Next week, should I say. We play Leicester at home on Sunday, Liverpool at home next Wednesday, and then Aston Villa away next Saturday. So we got tough games coming up. Big C check on their left back. Well, listen, we're going to talk about the player ratings later on, man, because Saka and Odegaard yesterday, I mean, yo... Well, they were balling yesterday. They were balling. Brooke, the next setting, said that guy D. Yeah, man, trust me, man. Like Kev says, go there. You have to punch these teams in the mouth. Curtis, trust the process. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet, man. Get us in that top four and we'll talk. We'll talk. Let's talk on March the 20th, exactly. I think we have an international break at the end of this month. So we have these 3 more games. I think we'll find out where we are then. I know a lot of the time we go, oh, we'll know how good we are after that. But I just think Leicester, Liverpool and Villa in 6 days, that is a big, big test for this team. If we can get a couple of wins out of that, maybe 7 points, 6 at the worst, I think we'll be in a good position. And of course, we did the second watch along yesterday. Big up to everyone who tuned in yesterday. Great numbers on the Arsenal watch along. And of course, we did the Manchester derby after. I put a complaint in on Twitter because I said, listen, I've tuned in to watch Manchester City against Man United and I'm watching a Manchester City training session. But, you know, all jokes aside, they're not the easiest of teams to beat Man City when they're at it like that. But, you know, it's the adjustment period that's difficult. I think United are having to accept where they are as a football club. Right, Granite Xhaka mode needed. Let me slow down a little bit. I don't want to miss all your comments. Make sure you like the video, people. Make sure you subscribe as well. Daily content. You know how it goes. We'll be here daily. Champions League watch-alongs this week as well. And obviously a busy week for Arsenal next week. We play again this Sunday. I think it's a 4:30 kickoff against Leicester. TM C Unit. Big up to all the C Unit posse, man. I hope you're all well. Where is Saeed? Saeed, man, he's probably crying tears today, man. Do you know what I mean? He was in the chat trolling yesterday. I don't think he's trolling today, you know. Visionite said, big up Curtly, Coney and Naldo. They're mute, they're from Mobay. Yo, we've always got the Jamaican names for people, man. But good vibes, man, good vibes. I mean, I think we're minimum hearing Europa League music. I think we're going to hear the Europa League music, but obviously we want them Champions League Tuesdays, you know what I mean? We want the big teams back at the Emirates, but hey, let's see, man. But big up to everyone. We'll break down the game yesterday. Yeah, Big Six, man. I mean, they're probably seasoning Saeed as we speak, because that brother about to get cooked on the Big Six show tonight. I'll be in the comments trolling him, that is for sure. Right, people, let's talk about the game yesterday. Let's talk about the game yesterday. Arsenal against Watford. Now, let me just get my bits and bobs up here, my stats. Right, so we won the game 3-2 in the end. And at times, the football yesterday was, I would say, scintillating football yesterday. At times, some of the football that we played yesterday, the goals, it was it was Arsene Wenger kind of football. Let's be totally honest. They were Wenger ball kind of goals that we were scoring yesterday. And I listen, my one disappointment with yesterday is I watched the game this morning. As you know, I always try and watch the game back because when I'm on stream, don't see the game properly. I always watch it back. My one disappointment about yesterday's game, if we're going to be objective here, I don't think we should have conceded 2 goals yesterday. Now, it's not the end of the world. 3 points was the expectation. If you'd have offered us 3-2 before the game, every Arsenal fan would have took it. However, you can't ignore things at the same time, and you look at that and you go, if we're playing against better opposition and we defend like that, it can become a problem. The first goal is a worldie. It's one of them goals that, 20 times, if he took that shot another 20 times, he wouldn't score. But that one time it goes in, it was still not great defending. The second goal for me that Sissoko scored, I thought was terrible defending. And we'll speak about that in the player ratings. But that goal was completely avoidable. So I just hope, when we play against better opposition, we have to deal with those things better. Gunnar8 said naive game management. Kid said we got caught sleeping. Jordan said exactly. Kev said season in time. Odegaard, many didn't want. Funny how they're quiet now. It's the players. Kev loves it, Do you know what, though? I have to give Kev his dues. I remember when Kev came on here, before Odegaard came to Arsenal on loan, and Kev at the time was working with La Liga. And I remember he came on a show and he said, there's this lad in Spain, you all know him, he's playing for Real Sociedad, having a great season, I think Arsenal should sign him. And to be fair, and listen, I'm going to be totally honest. You know me, people, I don't hide. It's there in 4K. You could see it in previous streams. I was not totally convinced with Martin Odegaard at the start of this season. Not in terms of ability and talent. It's been clear from day one. He's a mega talented player. I wasn't convinced with his output. I kind of felt like number 10s nowadays had to produce better numbers, goals and assists. But he's doing it now. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I love to see it. He's such an intelligent footballer. And Lord knows how good he's going to be when we get an even better striker. That's no disrespect to Lacazette, but as a creative player, I've played in the 10 role a few times before. When you play a great ball and the striker scores, it makes you look even better. When the striker puts it wide, people don't talk about that pass quite the same way. So you put a 20-goal striker in the middle as well, and, what level can he get to? That is for sure. Fabrizio Campbell, yeah, he saw it from early, man. Jordan said defending like that will cost us top 4 against stronger teams. We got away with it yesterday. We won the game. I always think even when you win a game, you should look at what went wrong and try and adjust it. Don't wait until it actually bites us on the backside and we end up losing points because of it. Realise even when you're winning a game and you feel like the game's wrapped up, you've still got to make sure you defend properly. And I think yesterday we felt like the game was won a little bit at 3-1, and it could have come back to cost us. David said that 30 million for Odegaard looks like an absolute steal. I mean, in this market where it's very difficult to get a value for money, I think 30 million for a young Norwegian captain, it looks like a snip, when you think we were going to pay maybe 60 or 70 million pounds for James Maddison. Omar said, today marks 5 years since we were last in the Champions League. The less said about how that game went, the better. I believe it was Bayern Munich, I think, at home, when they destroyed us 5-1. But listen, let's hope we're back in the Champions League next season. Let's get into player ratings. We're going to do press conference reaction. We'll speak about the game a little bit, as we do with player ratings. People, put your comments in the chat. Let me know what you think each player was. I've written them down. I've tried to come a little bit more prepared. Usually I freestyle, but I've turned up with lyrics this week. And I want to know if you agree with the numbers that I'm giving these players. So get your comments in. Make sure you like the video. 1,000 of you in it already. Twitch link in the description. all them bits and bobs. Big up South London's finest. Appreciate the support as always. Let's go through the player ratings, people. Aaron Ramsdale in goal. I just put a quick sentence for each player. For Aaron Ramsdale yesterday, I thought he was below average. I also think he's questionable in that second goal. I think the way he comes out to block that shot is a little crazy. He almost dives over the ball. He wasn't terrible. He didn't do anything in the game where I think, you know what, he's cost us there, or he's let one go straight through his hands. He just wasn't at his usual standards. I mean, the bicycle kick, I don't think he can do anything about that. The second one, I do think he could have done slightly better. What are you giving him, people? What are you giving him? I'm still going to squeeze a 6 for him. I'm still going to give him a 6 because he did make a couple of big saves as well. I think it's harsh to give, Jordan's giving him a 3. I think when you're giving a goalkeeper a 3, they maybe have made a big mistake. Do you know what? I'm going to give him 5.5. I'm going to give him 5.5 because I don't think he was as commanding. Kev just said here his kicking was poor as well. Yeah, a couple of times he's putting out for throw-ins. I just felt he wasn't at his best. I'm going to give him a 5.5, people. I'm going to give him a 5.5. I think 6 is average, and I think he was just below average. So I'm going to give him a 5.5 if I'm being 100% honest. I do think that was a little bit below his usual standards. Somebody just said something there, and I want to just quickly bring that up. Darren said Ramsdale gets too emotional. And I understand that. I do understand that. You know goalkeepers, and Kev, anybody that's played football at any level, goalkeepers are a different breed. They're totally different. I played for a goalkeeper with a goalkeeper, and he used to drink 3 Red Bulls before a game. Literally, 10 minutes before kickoff, he'd down a Red Bull, he'd down the next one, he'd down the next one. This guy would be bouncing off the walls. He literally used to headbutt the walls before the game. I said, nah, man, you need to relax. In the end, the club doctor was like, you can't do that no more. You can mash your heart up doing that. All the rubbish that's in these Red Bull drinks. But goalkeepers are different. A lot of the game, they don't do anything. So when something happens, they always want to be a superhero. Sometimes I think the best goalkeepers are them ones that are just calm and they handle business. Fitz said Ramsey's getting far too cocky. Arteta needs to rein him in. You haven't always got to make that Sky Sports save, tipping it wide and zinging kicks out looking like Edison. Just handle business. Yeah, just calm down a little bit. You've had a great season. The worst thing you can do sometimes is believe your own hype. Just continue doing what you're doing. I do like Rambo. I think he's a great goalkeeper for us this season. As you know, I wasn't convinced when we signed him, but he needs to relax a little bit. I don't know if he's drinking Red Bulls before the game or what, but I'm giving him 5.5, people. Yo, South London, relax, man. I said more than Red Bull. It's funny because a lot of teams don't like him. He might be one of them players that if he didn't play for Arsenal, we wouldn't like him. Listen, I still think he's a very good player. I just don't think he was quite at his best. Let's go into the back four. Cedric Suarez yesterday, people. It's interesting with Cedric, and this again was a difficult rating for me. I actually think Cedric had a decent game. He had that one moment in the second half where he was a little bit slack, gave the ball away. But I think he's playing all right. The interesting thing is that somebody put a stat up yesterday that we haven't kept a clean sheet since he came into the team for Tomiyasu. And I was saying this yesterday. Sometimes as an individual, you can perform well, but the collective level of that area of the pitch can still drop. Now, I actually thought Cedric was pretty solid yesterday, but I think because Cedric goes forward a lot more than Tomiyasu, maybe defensively it leaves us a little bit more vulnerable. One thing I will say, I think Cedric is better than Tomiyasu going forward. Tomiyasu is a far better defender. I think Cedric's better going forward. KP said it's a trade-off. With Tommy, we scored less. Christian said Cedric was brilliant, but we need Tommy for security. Snake Eye said 6, he was okay. Kev says clean sheet at Wolves, bro. That's a good point. Yeah, he did play that game, didn't he? So yeah, whoever gave me them stats was wrong. Now, Cedric, what am I giving Cedric yesterday? I'm going to give him a 6.5. I'm going to give him a 6.5. I even thought, if you look back, people, some of you might think I'm being harsh. First goal, the guy who scores the bicycle kick is his man. He leaves him to go kind of in Ben White's area. And then between the two of them, none of them kind of picked him up. So I'm going to give him a 6.5 for yesterday. But I am going to give him his dues. I think he is playing decent. I think he's a more than able backup right back at the moment. You're not going to have two world beaters at right back. But definitely better than... and I think he helps Saka's performance. I think when you're playing out wide and you've got a fullback overlapping, then I think that helps. Kieran Tierney at left back. Again, I don't know what it is. And people, let me know in the comments. I'm in a strange place with Kieran Tierney at the moment. Every time I do player ratings, I'm like, well, he didn't do anything wrong, but he didn't do much particularly great. And I don't know if I've set the standard so high for Kieran Tierney that I'm being harsh on him. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to be honest, I've got him down as 6 out of 10. I said average performance. I felt in the first half Watford were targeting that side of the pitch a little bit. And that worries me a little bit because you would think they would have targeted Cedric, not Kieran Tierney. There's nothing wrong with his performance. But just, I don't know, maybe the level of our defence in general has lifted by 10%. And now Kieran Tierney is not the standout centre-back. Maybe when we was playing Holding and Bellerin, he was far better than them. Maybe now he's at a similar level, so doesn't stand out as much. I'm going to give Tierney a 6. I give Cedric slightly higher than him. And a lot of people say Martinelli didn't help him as much as well. Let's see. Jordan said 6. South London said we were getting rinsed down our left and out of position. Does Tierney cross anymore? Nevin with the super chat. Gabby not helping Kieran Tierney on that side. Time for Saka left wing. I didn't think Martinelli helped him as much. Fitz gives him 6.5. Tierney 5. Ashley Cole settings. Listen, he wouldn't mind being Ashley Cole's level. Snake Eye said you expect much and get an okay performance from Kieran Tierney. I'm going to give him a 6. The one positive for Kieran Tierney at the moment is that he's staying fit. You know, having him available on a regular basis is the biggest thing. Stop the cross, Kieran Tierney, mate. Stop the cross. As I said a few weeks ago, of course. Let's talk about the two centre-backs. Gabrielle. As you know, I'm a massive fan of Gabrielle. I've said many times I think he's going to be a superstar for Arsenal. Again, I thought he was a little bit erratic yesterday. I don't think he was terrible. Definitely not terrible by any means. We were okay. But at times, a little bit rash. Just calm down a little bit. This is something he'll get with age and experience. But it wasn't at his very, very best. At times, a little bit off it on the ball. I've given him 6 out of 10 people for yesterday. And you know I'm a big fan of him. Gunnar React said 6. Sean said 6. Rastaman said Gabriel seems to get too tight to his man. As I always say, people, he always wants to win the ball. And I think, again, the best centre-backs, they don't always win the ball. I remember a coach always used to say to our defenders, if you can't win the ball, delay the player. Delay him so that other players can get into position to help. Sometimes he always wants to win the ball. So I think he needs to calm down with that. But 6 out of 10. Gabby 6.5 said Daniel. Khalid gives him 6. Yeah, I saw a tweet from Gabriel saying he's got to prove himself. Fitz said 5.5, wasn't impressed. And Shibe said cool 6.5. Let's talk about Ben White. Now, the interesting thing about this rating, and I watched the whole game again, Ben White had a decent game, but the second goal is his fault. Ultimately becomes his fault. I think he should stop Sissoko getting past him. I really do. As I'm watching the game, throughout the game, I'm thinking Ben White looks the better of the two centre-backs. But the way he gets done for that goal, I'm sorry, and this for me, I'm not going to annihilate him. It happens. Defenders make mistakes. Strikers miss chances. That's the way football goes. It is far too easy the way Moussa Sissoko goes past him. We're lucky, you know, the game was 3-1 and it was wrapped up. but he has to do better than that. The one thing that I would say about Ben White, I think he's good on the ball. I think he reads the game well. I think when you isolate him and you're a tricky player or you're a bit more physical than him, I think you can get... I look at Ben White and I think if you was a top striker, you'd look at him and think, I can get at him. I can cause him problems. Not that aggressive, you know. I'm not going to annihilate him. I'm still going to give him a 6, right? But that goal, he has to do better than that. We're talking about a £50 million centre-back. And this is the funny thing nowadays, isn't it? Like, people are buying centre-backs, and the best thing about them sometimes is not even their defending. That's how crazy football is nowadays. The game has changed completely in that sense. What are you saying with Ben White? Dark said Saliba is better than White. Kiros gives him a 6.5. Sean said Jota has had him every game against him. Yeah, he just backs him up. He's too sharp for him. Tally said, yes, Ben White was poor defending that second goal. He should have done better. Let's see what else she's saying on Ben White. David said 6 for Benny. Ron says 5.5. Compared to Maguire, what a steal. I mean, listen, but we don't want to compare him to the fridge. That's for damn sure. MTG, I agree, he's not a great defender. And Zach said, Ben White has been good for the last 2 months. I'll let him off for that. Yeah, I'm not annihilating him. I just think in that moment there, he's got to do better. Southland has finally said, Saliba should be licking his lips. Let's see. Right, we're into the midfield now. Let's start to turn the oven up because we're getting hotter as we go through the team. So let's talk about Granit Xhaka, people. Granit Xhaka. He plays a pass in the build-up to Watford's second goal that I have no idea who he's trying to play that ball to. He plays a 40-yard diag across our own half and gives it straight to the Watford player. The Watford player plays one pass. Then Xhaka, running back with Moussa Sissoko in midfield, he decides to slow down and try and win the header. The ball goes over his head and then Ben White gets done. He wasn't terrible in the game, but that is just a typical Granit Xhaka moment of madness. And again, you're lucky that we're not playing a better team. You're lucky, you know? So, Monty said, Curtis, that goal is Xhaka's fault. I always think, though, you can look at where it started from and where it finished. Xhaka's pass puts us in trouble. He then doesn't track the runner, and then Ben White gets stopped. So you can blame both of them, really, but it wasn't great. I think Thomas Partey got him out of a bit of a hole yesterday. I really do in that time there. Xhaka again. Elliot said Xhaka's doing okay in the new role, but lost his head again for the second goal. Upgrade is needed. I mean, I don't know where we're at here. 1 goal reduced 2 players' ratings. Yeah, because listen, I think both of them were at fault for it. Greg said, I would not want Xhaka on my Sunday morning pickup team after a drunken Saturday night. I'm going to give him 5.5, people. I'm going to give him 5.5 for 2 reasons. Number 1, I think that he's at fault for that second goal. Number 2, I felt like Sissoko was beasting him a little bit yesterday. I got to be honest. You look back at that game yesterday, Sissoko was one of their best players. And I think it was Xhaka that he was giving trouble to. I give him a 5.5. Cash said I give him a 10 for no yellow card. JK said Xhaka 6. Need Bellingham, De Jong, Ritz or Renato Sanchez. Even Arteta had to talk to him for a bit during one stoppage. Sean said anything lower than a 5 would be too harsh. Yeah, listen, he wasn't terrible, but it's Xhaka, innit? All right, let's turn the oven up now, people. Now we're about to start cooking. This is where Arsenal handled business yesterday. Let's talk about the general. Let's talk about the general. Because 50% of this midfield is moving correctly right now. Let me tell you, when we get that upgrade next to him in the summer, then we're going to have a proper midfield. No more Indomie noodles. He looks like he's eating hard food right now. You know what I love about Thomas Partey, right? He makes difficult things look very simple. And sometimes it's very easy to ignore the things that he's doing. Have a look how many times he gets the ball on the half turn and plays a ball between the lines. More often than not, probably to Odegaard. He's the only player really that plays that ball. It's a dream ball. It opens teams up. Man City do it for fun. Come and get the ball off the centre-back, turn, zip it into the 10 between the lines. He's a beast. He's a beast in my opinion. We know he's shooting his what it is. He was still trying to shoot yesterday, but he gets an 8 out of 10 for me. I thought he bossed it. I thought he bossed our midfield. With him not in our midfield, we've seen where we're at. With him in the midfield, we've always got a chance. I'm telling you, he's eating jollof, he's eating chicken, he's eating fufu. The man looks strong right now. This is the real Thomas Partey. The one that was bossing, Atletico and all of that. The general is back. The general is back. Kev said Partey is nyamming, man. I'm telling you. He's mashing up work right now. The shooting, yeah, we're going to have to work on that. Partey gets an 8 out of 10. Sometimes these midfielders, it's easy to miss what they're doing and how important they are. He starts so many of our attacks. I just think he's a brilliant player. He's one of them players that I hope that over time, we truly appreciate how good he can be. And again, as we were talking with Odegaard when he gets the better striker, how good is he going to be if you put a Ruben Neves or a Renato Sanchez or a Basuma or an Aouar, somebody of that higher level than Xhaka next to him, and he's got more responsibility then to go and play. Christian said, upgrade Xhaka, get a 9 and we are in business. Partey is showing his class. Get a partner that can support him and break the lines. One thing I never realised about Partey until we signed him, I think he's actually quite good going forward. Not necessarily in the shooting, but he can, in terms of the passing and the way he looks forward all the time. Planting Partey, I'm telling you, Partey been eating that planting, man. That yard, take him to the yard shop, man, and sort him out. Ramsdale, take him to that yard shop you used to go to, man. Right. The oven is preheated right now, people. It's only getting hotter from this point. Let's start with Gabrielle Martinelli, fresh out of the favelas, young Brazilian Donny, I mean, listen, I'm not going to cap. I keep it 100 here when I do these player ratings. Martinelli was not having a great game yesterday until he scored that goal. Let's keep it 100. First off, I was going, not playing great. Hasn't really got past the right back, and his crosses haven't been that great. But the goal is magnificent. The move is just, and the finish, and the celebration. I mean, I had my bank card out. I was ready to order merchandise. Sissoko's goal at the end, I deleted the sort code, but I was close. Some players are not players that are constantly good throughout a game. Some players are moments players. They have moments of brilliance, moments of magic. The goal is fantastic. Look at the way he just bends it into the near post top corner. The celebration, the passion. Even when you're not having a great game, that's what I want to see. Can you produce? Can you give us a moment of quality? Snake Eye said, Big C Partey was great yesterday. I just like to see it with the big teams. We know he has it in his locker. I just need to see consistency. Yeah, 100%. That's the same with all players. Yay, Gambian Gunu. I remember you turning up on that member stream in the Arsenal jumper, man, at Christmas. That was a banger still. It was sold out. I did have a look. I'm sorry, people. It was, festive cheer and all that. But Martinelli, for me, I love the goal. And that's what he has to keep producing. He has to keep scoring. I look at Martinelli, I think you've got to be a nightmare for fullbacks. You should make fullbacks dreams. You should be a nightmare, for a fullback. I'm going to give him a 7. To be honest. He came off as well. So he didn't play the full 90. But the goal was fantastic. Martinelli gets a 7 for me. Arteta started that attack. Yeah, listen, man. He got the pre-assist, didn't he? Quickly picked up the ball, quick throw, and bang. No CCV code. The code, we never got that far. I was close. The Sissoko goal done me. Cash said Martinelli is a striker. Maybe eventually. Reece said, ready to order them red shorts. You know what? I have to admit, at the start of the game, I was like, yo, man, this red shorts, red socks thing, it don't work for me, but who cares when you win the game? 7 for Gabrielle Martinelli, people. Good throw in waffle. Yeah, man. Right. I mean, for me yesterday, there were 2 performances above every other player on that pitch yesterday. It was difficult for me to even separate who was man of the match because both of them were that good. I put up a picture on Twitter of Ronaldinho and R9 Ronaldo, and I said this was Saka and Odegaard today. Obviously, I'm joking, but I've just, and I mean just, gone with Saka as man of the match. Just. When I say just, it was tight, people, because they were both fantastic. The reason why I'm going for Saka as man of the match is he's had question marks this season. Make no mistake about it. Saka's had question marks over him this season. Does he score enough goals? Has he recovered from the Euros? Does he look tired? He needs a rest. Play Pepe. He should play on the left. We've had all them question marks over him. He's 20 years of age. He's still a young man. He had, I would say, what happened to him in the summer for England, that can ruin people's careers. Let's be totally honest. That can ruin people's careers, missing a penalty in a final for your country. And we know everything that happened after. I thought yesterday is up there as Bukayo Saka's best performance in an Arsenal shirt. Some of you saying Odegaard man of the match. I wouldn't argue. I would not argue with it. Literally, you could pick them out of a hat. It makes no difference. They were both that good yesterday. But I'm just leaning to him because I've kind of been waiting for that performance for a while. Christian said Saka was absolutely ripping that fullback apart all night long. Lionel Richie said, I'm telling you, that fullback needs counselling this morning after what he did to him. He ruined him. His goal, outstanding, whips it in the top bins. The assist for Odegaard, little reverse pass on his right foot. He ripped the fullback apart. He even changed wings when Pepe came on. I think that's one of his best performances. It's one of his best performances. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10, people. I'm going to give him a 9 out of 10. And he just gets man of the match. And I mean, like, close. People saying get a poll. All right, let's get the poll up. The poll is going to be simple. Who was man of the match, Odegaard or Saka? I think we can agree there was only 2 players that we would call man of the match yesterday. Now, Sky Sports, Alan Smith was doing the commentary. He gave Saka man of the match. Ahead of Odegaard as well. So let me get the poll up. I can see a lot of you in the comments saying Odegaard, so it'll be an interesting one, this. Right, here we go. Let's get a poll up. Who was your man of the match? Who was your man of the match? Saka or Odegaard? And we'll check that. We'll check the results later on, people. I think a lot of you are saying Odegaard, so wouldn't surprise me if you go for him. But yeah, Saka, for me, outstanding performance. Zach said Sky Sports absolutely love Saka. John, I didn't even read that. John said he was in the armoury this morning. It happens to all of us. It's happened to all of us at times, people. We've all been there, man. We get caught up. 1 minute I'm Cronk out, the next minute it's next day delivery, man. That's the love we have for the club, I'm afraid. Let's talk about Martin Odegaard, because Martin Odegaard, again, I feel no way in coming on here and saying, do you know what? You are an absolute baller at the moment. If he keeps performing like that, I mean, what a signing. Don't get me wrong, I was never saying that Odegaard, I didn't want him, I didn't think he was good enough. I didn't think he was producing enough in the final third. I didn't think he was hurting teams enough. I think at the moment, if you was playing against Arsenal, you'd be saying you've got to stop him. We were tweeted, yes, calling him Odergaard yesterday. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. Now, I know it's Watford. Some people will say Watford and blah, blah, blah. This is a Watford that drew with Man United at Old Trafford. And it isn't a one-off. He's been playing like this for a few weeks. So all I can do, Mr. Odegaard, is say, listen, man, keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. What I love about Martin Odegaard, he always looks like he's got time on the ball. Every time he gets the ball, he always looks like he's got a few yards of space. And I think that is credit to him, because he gets in brilliant positions. He's always kind of in the number 10 role, but slightly to the right. He always seems to go and link with Bukayo Saka if you watch how he plays. Penalty Spot said, I hope in 5 years from now we can look back and call him Odergaard. He's found his home, Penalty Spot. He's found his home. You find in football, at any level that you play, you perform at the best when you feel comfortable, when you feel like this is my home, when you feel like this is my club and the people here believe in me and they play in a way that I believe in. And that's what I think. I think Odegaard has felt homeless in a footballing sense since he joined Real Madrid. Real Madrid signed him. They threw him on loan here, there and everywhere. He's tried to perform, tried to go back there. Then they've binned him. He's come to Arsenal. I think he signed a 5-year contract. You could see Arteta loves him. The players love him. The fans love him. And he's feeding off that energy. Looks a proper player. Looks a proper player at the moment. Keep up the good work. Guess a 9 out of 10 for me. Could have been a flip of the coin who you give man of the match to. Simple as that. Him or Saka, I would have no argument with either one. Midnight said he has great energy, always running and chasing. Gunnar8 said he's pure silk. Rastaman said he was just too young. Exactly, 16 at Real Madrid. So always going to be difficult. Don said, totally agree, Curtis. He's happy. Doug said, Odegaard was man of the match for me. Yeah, listen, like I said, fair enough. Either one of them. Joseph said, Saka makes Odegaard look good because he understands football. Praise to Saka. And this is it sometimes. I think we used to see this at certain times with Mesut Ozil when Ozil was really performing at Arsenal, that we used to say, well, apart from maybe Sanchez and maybe Santi Cazorla, it didn't feel like many players were on his level. And I think, like I said, with Odegaard, you put a striker up front who could score 20 goals and maybe we get even better. So 9 out of 10 for Martin Odegaard. Fantastic. I'm going to talk about the next guy for a little bit because I want to add a little bit of context into how I'm trying to be a little bit more positive about this guy's rating. Now, I'm going to be totally honest. I've been very harsh on Lacazette over the last number of weeks, months. I've said he's got to score more goals because probably for me, I grew up in a generation where strikers had to score. It was as simple as that. You have to score goals. I think I've got to start looking at Lacazette for what he's doing rather than what he's not doing, because he's probably not that striker anymore. A lot of people in the comments saying Lacazette Firmino, and I understand that because Firmino's exceptional in that kind of false nine role. But the difference with Firmino doesn't have the same pressure to score because Mane and Salah will go and score 20 goals a season each from the wing. So if Firmino gets 9 goals, 10 goals, no problem. At the moment, we haven't got 2 wingers that score 20 goals, so I think there is more pressure on Lacazette to produce. Lacazette got 2 assists yesterday. The first one, the control and the little back heel to Bukayo Saka, is absolutely fantastic. It's just fantastic. It really is. The second one as well, into him, little set. Martinelli puts it in the top corner. I can imagine that Martinelli, Odegaard and Saka absolutely love Lacazette because he's that link man. You drop the ball into his feet, he'll pin the defender and he'll give it you back. Where I question Lacazette is when he's facing the goal, when the responsibility is on him, you can see that he's very low on confidence. It even got to the point yesterday where Arsenal were in positions where he wasn't even the best player to pass to. He wasn't in the best position, but they were giving him the ball. And I was like, no, don't do that. I know you're a team and I know you want him to score for his confidence, but if Watford end up scoring 2 goals, we're going to look back on them situations and say you could have scored it. Lacazette is probably becoming that Firmino kind of striker now. Is that the role he wants to play, or is that the role he's got to play because he hasn't got the legs and the goals to become that goal-scoring striker in the Premier League? I'm going to be fair to Lacazette. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. He held the ball up. He worked his socks off. 2 fantastic assists. I've seen a stat here that Lacazette, in his last 9 games, I mean, he's only scored 1 goal, which for me, I'm sorry, is not good enough. I won't hide away from that. 1 goal in 9 appearances at a team like Arsenal with no real competition up front, now that Aubameyang's gone, is not good enough. On the flip side, he's got 8 assists. So he's contributed 9 goals to the team in his last 9 games. The goals, I mean, I've said before, I still wouldn't give him a new contract. And I still think he needs to hit the back of the net. But because we won the game, because of the quality of the first assist, Rastaman said I'm being generous. I thought he played his team role very well yesterday, you know. But I would still like to see him score goals. And let's face it, you know, Watfords and Burnleys and teams like that, you would expect him to be scoring in them games. Monty said we asked Lacazette for goals, maybe we asked for assists. Yeah, exactly. Maybe we flip it on its head a little bit and then we'll get a little bit more out of him perhaps. Goals by committee. As you say, listen, if Martinelli goes and gets 10, 12 goals, if Smith Rowe gets 10 to 12, if Saka gets 10, if Odegaard gets 10 and Lacazette gets maybe 8 or 9, that will probably get us in the top 4. Reem said he got robbed of a penalty, blatant penalty. Don't know why VAR didn't check it. I have no idea why they didn't check it. He got kicked on the back of his Achilles. Blatant penalty. RBI said he needs to stop forcing it. He'll get one that will drop on his right foot and get his confidence up. As long as he keeps facilitating for other players, we should support the man. Yeah, 100%. As a striker, you know, you can't force it. It's like anything in life, really. It has to happen naturally, people. But he looks a little bit desperate for the goal. I think he's just got to kind of let it happen. 1.9k watching, people. Not even 500 likes. Can we hit 1,000 likes? Arsenal went 3-point collecting yesterday. We're in a good mood, people. We're in the top 4. Man United got smoked. I mean, it was a great weekend. Let's be honest. Let's look at the substitutes who came on. I mean, I'm not really gonna... Who came on? Pepe, Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding came on. Listen, they'll all get probably a standard 5 for me. I don't think Pepe really got enough of the ball to influence it. Nketiah hit the post, looked bright, didn't come on for long. And Rob Holding came on, you know, just to show off his hair had grown well from the Turkish transplant. Life lessons from Big C. Love it. Don't force it, people. It has to happen naturally, you know. Natural thing with Epon. 7 assists in 9 is crazy. Yeah, listen, I'll give him his props. I'll give him his props for the assists. I would love to see goals. I would love to see goals. Listen, if Lacazette was doing what he was doing with goals, we wouldn't be looking for a new striker in the summer. But the lack of goals is still a problem. By the way, Everton tonight. Kev, if you're still in the chat, I don't know if you are, but we could do with a favour tonight. I'm just going to quickly talk about the weekend because obviously I did the watch along yesterday. Manchester United got absolutely smoked like a Cuban cigar in that second half. You know, Havana, Cuban cigar. No striker, keep ball session. They actually did all right in the first half, Man United. Harry Maguire did something I've never seen in my entire life. He dummied a ball in his own penalty area. And they end up scoring from the rebound. I mean, oh, man, I have to admit, I enjoyed that second half, man. I really enjoyed it. And rumours this morning that, you know, Ronaldo was told he was going to be on the bench and refused to be on the bench. He's flown back to Portugal, you know, not getting on with Ralph Rangnick. Apparently, Man United players are questioning his training and his tactics. And also Marcus Rashford, apparently, talking about leaving in the summer. It's not rosy over there at Old Trafford, man. The roof's leaking. They had no food, no Wi-Fi the other week. They're losing games. I mean, these other teams are starting to give me that belief, man, that we can get that top four. So, I mean, listen, Man United lost 4-1. Man City can do that to anybody in the Premier League, probably, apart from Liverpool, who usually, when they play, it's a lot closer. But they're on a different planet. They're on a different planet, the way they keep the ball. They had Sterling on the bench. He didn't even come on. That's the level of quality that they've got. So, yeah, from that point of view, obviously a great result for Arsenal. Man United lost 3 goals on the goal difference as well. So, in that sense, that was a great result for us. Obviously, Wolves lost 2-0 to Palace. Zaha and co. ripped them up. I think that takes them out of the top 4 race, to be honest, Wolves. And West Ham got beat against Liverpool. Tricky game there. Again, good result for Arsenal. So at the moment, as I said, everyone that we're kind of in that top 4 race with has dropped points this weekend. I'd love to see Everton and Frank Lampard go to Spurs tonight and nick something, man. Dele Alli against his old club. He'll have a point to prove. You know, I don't know if Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison and them, man, are fit, but hopefully Everton can go and get a result there. Yeah, man, you know, see, Ronaldo said, listen, man, goats don't sit on the bench. I mean, it's... I can imagine him doing that as well. I really can imagine Ronaldo, you know, Ralph telling him you're on the bench. He's thinking, what, me? Manchester derby, all the cameras, the team that he was probably going to go to. He's not on that, man. He said, listen, man, my hip's starting to ache. I'm going back to Portugal. Alfred said, I'd rather him assist 30 goals versus scoring 20. Too many seasons we had a striker who scored goals and the team did nothing. Van Persie, Adebayor, or Sanchez. That's an interesting point. That is an interesting point. A lot of the years where, I mean, listen, ideally you'd want both. You'd want your wingers banging and the strikers doing it. But there have been a lot of years where, I remember Adebayor got 33 goals one year in all comps, Van Persie and Aubameyang. Sometimes there becomes a reliance that, he'll get us out of the mess because he scores. And that is a very dangerous thing to do. Rochelle said, go on, Toffees, do us a favour. Come on, man, we're Everton fans tonight. I was a Man City fan in the chat yesterday. Who are you, Ralph? Yeah, can you imagine Ralph telling Ronaldo you're on the bench? Bear in mind, Ronaldo, let's be honest, he could have gone to Man City. You know, Alex made the phone call, pulled at the heartstrings, got him to United, and man's telling him you're on the bench for the Manchester derby. He's just not accepting that. Olamide said, I'll take Rashford at Arsenal. That's a good point. There you go. That could be another debate, people. Let me just end the previous poll. 61% of you give man of the match to Martin Odegaard. So that's interesting. 39% give it to Saka. As I said, it's a nice problem to have. Do you agree with Olamide, who said he would take Rashford at Arsenal? Just quick. I'm not going to do a poll on that one, but would you take him? My worry with Rashford straight away is, number one, he would cost a fortune, even though he's not playing well. United aren't going to sell him to another Prem club for peanuts. He would cost 70 plus million, maybe more, just because of the hype around him. He's on big wages. And as I've always kind of felt with Rashford over the last couple of years, I don't even know what position he plays. I see him play left wing. He's kind of not a winger. He plays up front. He's not really a striker. Personally, I wouldn't be looking for Rashford. I think he's got a lot of talent. I think the right coach could get a lot out of him. But we haven't got time for them kind of experiments. CR7 couldn't get his ego into the stadium. To be fair, his ego's probably bigger than the Etihad, to be fair. Radansky said, no, thank you. Most of you saying, no, you wouldn't take Marcus Rashford. Harry said, I think he's playing bad because they play him on the wing when he's a striker. Most of you saying no to Rashford, to be fair. So it seems like... most of you don't want him. Mangi said, we don't need players to rebuild. We need a hot streak player. I hear you on that. We need someone who's coming in hot already, man, who's handling business. Welbeck is better. To be fair, somebody just said Mikel Arteta. I'll give Mikel Arteta an 8 out of 10 for yesterday. I'll give him an 8 out of 10 because he had a decision to make. Smith Rowe, obviously, get well soon. He's out with COVID. He obviously wasn't involved. So then it was a case of, do you play Martinelli? Do you play Pepe? Went with Martinelli. Martinelli scores a great goal. Also, he got the pre-assist by going, running, collecting the ball, and we get the goal from that. So I'm going to give Arteta 8 out of 10. See, I'm nice to Arteta, man. You know what I mean? When the time's right. Man said 8 cones out of 10. See, someone's always trying to draw me out. Ammo, relax, man. They tell me I'm too harsh on him. You got to bring the cones up. It's the cones, Curtis. It's the cones. Zachariah said Rashford needs to be employed by the school kitchen. See, for me, all jokes aside, and I get the jokes, and I'm only going to talk about it quickly, right? In football, and in life, to be honest, but especially in football, fans in general were the first people to say that players don't do enough for society, for their communities, for the underprivileged and things like that. We're the first. A lot of these footballers do it and you don't hear about it, and a lot of them don't do it. Now, Rashford has done more than a lot of, than the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister wanted to stop feeding the kids. He said, no, pandemic, the kids are going hungry. I don't believe in beating a man down for something, that's got nothing to do with his, form on the pitch. So me, I don't buy into that still. I know some people will say this, that, and the other, but I don't agree with criticizing a man for doing something that has fed hundreds of thousands of kids at a time when there's financial difficulty all over the country. I don't think that the two situations correlate. I don't think because Rashford's feeding the youths that he's out of form. The two have got nothing to do with each other, in my opinion. He had an operation when Solskjaer made him play till the end of the season. He had difficulties off the pitch. I think he broke up with his girlfriend. I think they're back together now. And, he's out of form. He's played under different managers who probably haven't suited him. And maybe he needs a change. Maybe he needs a change, people. Simple as that. Sometimes in football, look at Aubameyang. People are calling him finished. He's gone to Barcelona and looks a different player. Maybe Rashford needs a different club, a different environment. He's lost his own hunger, said FaZe. I mean, listen, that's a conversation. That's hard for me to say, from a footballing point of view. I'm not a Man United fan, so I don't know how United fans see him on the pitch. I think to criticise his form is fair, because he's not playing well for Manchester United. I just don't like criticising him for something that I think he deserves to be praised for that. But that's just my opinion. Alfred said, how are we calling for Martinelli to play up top, but people wouldn't take Rashford as a striker? Both play the same style, fast counter. I think the difference, Alfred, is Martinelli's already at the club. We can just play Martinelli up front and coach him and work with him. To go and get Marcus Rashford, you're going to pay 70 plus million. You're going to pay 100,000 plus 150, 200 grand a week. So why sign a Rashford if you can maybe create that player from Martinelli? If Arsenal go and buy a striker for big, big money, I think... I think if you spend 70 million on a striker, he's got to be a big upgrade on what we've got. People saying he's on 250 a week. There you go. It's, you wouldn't go. There's no need to do that. Penalty Spot said English tax, he's not worth it at the moment. He's not. He probably looked at his best under Louis van Gaal when he broke through and he was just playing up front. But hey, it is what it is. Big up Rashford for the free dinners. It's one of them, innit? It's one of them. People always have their opinions on it, but I just think he might need a change of environment. Right, let's get into it, people. Press conference reaction. Mikel Arteta, your time, my friend. People say I'm harsh on you, but you're getting your flowers when you deserve them. I'm not going to criticise the manager when our team is playing well. I've said this before and I'll say it again until I don't have to say it no more. I don't particularly mind who the Arsenal manager is, as long as Arsenal Football Club are performing, are successful. If we're successful with Arteta, then great. I told you, I will eat waffles live on stream. I'll pour syrup all over them and I'll put Arteta on the green screen. We'll do it, what's it called? What's the thing called? ASMR. I'll chomp the waffles down the mic. Hey, penalty spot. Do you know what? It's not changing opinion, because I'm not there yet. I'm still not there. I still don't. I'm still not going to come on here and say, "Oh, that's it. I've seen the light. We're back." Nah, we got a long way to go. We still got Liverpool at home. We still got Man United at home. Still got West Ham away, Chelsea away, Tottenham away, Aston Villa away. We got tough games, people. Tough games. So we still got a long way to go. But I'm enjoying what I'm seeing at the moment. Thomas said, join the dark side. Oh, man. Listen, I just want Champions League. I want to hear that music. Mangi said, live waffle eat along. I'm telling you, man. You're still on that platform, not on the train just yet. I'm not there yet, man. I told you. And I jumped the barriers. I didn't buy the ticket. Wayne said, thank you for defending Rashford's good work. How can anyone tell him to stop helping people so he can focus on the football? People over football. And listen, the reality, in my opinion, you can do both. Zach said, I'm getting close. Yeah, I'm a bit closer. I took a couple steps forward. You know, I was way back. And now, you know, I've stepped forward a little bit, you know. Just get us in the Champions League, please. Right, let's hear what he had to say. I'm not sure if this is... Let me just look. I just want to see. I have to prepare myself. No, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. But as usual, people, if we get caught waffling, I will run away from it. You know, I don't want to spoil no one's Monday. First question, he said, on I wanted to know, they're going to ask him about the coffee with Roy Hodgson again. On if he gets the assist for the third goal, he said, I don't know, but if it helped the team a little bit to get what they wanted, that's exactly what we need. Everybody can contribute somehow, and I had the opportunity to do that, so it's good. Now, listen, I have to big him up. I have to big him up still. You know, the man came running out the dugout and dashed the ball to Saka. The pre-assist settings was mad, I can't lie. Man saying you didn't say Coman music. Mickey Rouse, the boss. Managerial assist, man. Yo, he's probably got more assists than certain players this season. Not at Arsenal in the Prem. You know, we don't fire shots at our own players. On the performance being clinical but not always controlled, he said, I saw that in the first minute of the game. We could have been 1-0 down. We were really good going forward and we had all the right intentions and energy. We scored 3 magnificent goals. But we didn't have the same energy and commitment defensively. When that happens, to win a game from home, you're going to suffer. That's why we suffered. Defensively, we didn't have the right structure. We didn't detect with enough urgency where they could activate certain spaces that they knew. That's why we suffered. We conceded 2 and we could have conceded another 1 or 2. Do you know what? I like the fact that he's acknowledging that defensively that's not good enough. And that's what I'm saying. Celebrate the win, enjoy the win, but still pick out what didn't go right. I always remember one time, and I always said this. I watched a Manchester United game in the Champions League years ago. I was only a kid. And Alex Ferguson, they'd won the game. I think it was away from home somewhere. And they brought Ferguson out. And the guy said to him, like, oh, you must be delighted. And he was like, no, I'm not happy. And they were like, why? He's like, we conceded a goal, and he basically was saying, like, yeah, I think they were like 3-0 up, and they conceded 1 or 2 goals. And he was just like, no, if we want to win, you don't switch off. That's not what winners do, blah, blah, blah. So I like the fact that Arteta is looking at things like that constructively as well, you know. And like Prince says, I appreciate that. You know, we can't just be swinging and saying, yeah, man, everything's perfect, because we've got more difficult games coming up. The defence has to work better than that. And to be honest, I want to see Tomiyasu back. And that's no disrespect to Cedric. On what he puts that down to, he said, I don't know. Thinking sometimes that, yeah, I have the space and this is really good and controlling the game, but they were not. I'm really happy that we won the game. There are a lot of positive things, but that's not going to be enough. And do you know what? Listen, do you know what? Yeah. You're talking the things today, Mikel. That's what I'm talking about. This is what I try and tell people. They thought the game was won, wrapped up. Yeah, we're Arsenal. We got our red shorts on. It's a sunny day. These lot aren't very good. The game's won. And that's when in football sometimes you fall flat on your face. Don't let that happen. I want to see Arsenal go and win that game 4-1, 5-1, rather than 3-2 and we're hanging on. That's the difference between good teams and great teams. MD said, my manager, listen, man, I respect what he's saying there. You know, I respect it. Arteta in, said J-Cat. Duke said, I actually agree with him. 100% agree with him. And you know me, I'm the first to have a go at him. Waffle stock gone. Yeah, maybe the deliveries we couldn't get them. We couldn't get them here today, man. So no waffling. What else he got to say? He said on looking angry after Arsenal's second goal. He said I didn't like how we were controlling the game, allowing spaces against the team who, if we kept allowing it, we're going to suffer. We had to put it right, and we did in certain periods. In the last 25, we lost it again. We have to show maturity and understanding to control the game how we want. At 3-1, we had to make 300,000 passes in the opposition half. When they have the right moment to come at us, then we can attack them. We didn't do that. The game was open, and you had the feeling the game was open right until the end. Man said at 3-1 after, we had to make 300,000 passes. I mean, I'm trying to figure out how he's meaning this. Is he saying we tried to play 300,000 passes instead of finishing them off? Or he's saying we should have been making pass after pass after pass, controlling the game, wearing them down? I don't know if I'm reading this wrong. Waffles, no, the waffles are right. He just wants 300,000 passes. That's it. Now, I think what he's trying to say is keep the ball, dominate them, wear them down, score more goals. Yeah, I think we was overplaying. There were times where, like I was saying, I think we were trying to give the ball to Lacazette when he wasn't even in the best position. We were trying to get the man a goal. That's not what football's about. Yes, sir said he wants to copy Pep. He means we should have dominated and tormented them like City did to United. I think when you're 3-1 up against an inferior opposition, control the game, keep the ball, wear them down, you'll probably score again. Instead, we're giving the ball away, that stupid pass from Xhaka, and we concede a goal. So I get what he's saying. On who impressed him today, he said, I don't like to highlight players. I think you could see the contribution on the goals, who was involved. They were key, but it's about the team. Sometimes when you don't have enough to win the match, it's about what they have between them that gives you the edge and somehow win the match. This is what I like. I like the team. The man don't like to name individuals. They're trying to draw him out, though. On the understanding between Saka and Odegaard, he said, I think it's between them, the way the game flows, the way we attack, how we adapt our positions relating to each other, speed of movement, the timing, he's going on. I'm not going to... Yeah, he's on one. He doesn't want to name them either. Which is interesting, but yeah, I get his point. Penalty Spot said he always looks angry watching Arsenal. Scary looking manager during the game. Wonder if he throws any teacups. All or nothing. Yeah, man. King in the Indies said 300,000 passes. Keep it moving quickly in the opposition half and wear them down. That's what you have to do. Because realistically, when you're 3-1 up away at Watford, the game should be done and dusted. You've got your 2-goal lead. You've shown your quality. You've scored 3 times. Keep the ball and finish them off. They'll make a mistake. They'll leave a gap, and that's what it's about. That's what top teams need. Again, I think to do that, we need another centre midfielder next to Partey who's more comfortable on the ball. Shaib said Pep got key killer players. We have to wait if they develop. Yeah, obviously we're not at that level. Here he goes. On if we're seeing the benefit of the time in Dubai. It's nothing like a holiday in Dubai, Mikel, mate. Courtesy of Edu. I told you, Edu, the travel agent, man. All inclusive, Top quality hotel, room service, nice swimming pool. That's all Arsenal needed. He said probably it can be one thing. It can be that we are playing together and constantly for longer periods, which is very much needed. So the understanding is better. They trust each other better. They understand what to do in relation to what the opponent is doing. So it's good. The more they play together, they'll understand each other. It's simple. Edu earned his pay on that holiday. Edu Travago. I'm telling you, man. Edu Thomas Cook settings, people. On if Saka is now playing at top gear. Oh, man, he's given us a long answer there. I think Bukayo had an experience in the summer that not a lot of players would ever have. I think it was great for his career because the football world showed how much they like him and how much they respect him. I think he's been listening to me here, although I don't totally agree with everything what he's saying. Because we also have to bear in mind the football world rallied round Saka and showed how much they love him, but he got a lot of racial abuse. So we can't, it wasn't all support and happiness that he got. But I do understand what he's saying. I'm not going to annihilate him for the comment. I get what he means. It showed him how kind of loved he was by Arsenal and a lot of England fans. He said, so I think it was a big boost for him to realise in difficult moments that people are going to give him support. The club did the same as his teammates. Then it's about leaving him that space. What he already is doing is phenomenal, and he needs that room. Don't read too much. Do what you do. Football is his priority in life, and you can see that every day in training. He needs to continue to behave and live that way. I just think his attitude is fantastic. Everything I hear about him and what people say is that he just loves football. He loves the training ground. You know, I just think he's a top young player. I really do. On Lacazette's contribution to the team, he said he will still not be happy in that dressing room because he wants to score. But a lot of the things he does for the team are phenomenal. And that's kind of what I was alluding to, you know. Great performance. But he's desperate for that goal. You saw when he came off, he was cussing when he came off. Took the armband off, he looked vexed. He wants that goal, he's desperate for it. And we're playing teams at the moment that you would expect him to be scoring against. He said here, on if our tough experiences this season have helped, he said, I always believed that if you understand those difficult moments like a sign to do something with your life or to understand better the purpose, why you are where you are, I think they can help you a lot. And this is what I try to do when I have a problem. When I have a situation, to try to understand it's happening for a reason. Not because it's me and everything happens to me. It happens for a reason, and what are you going to do about it? And that's the way I try to approach it. Yo, man's turning into Martin Luther Arteta, mate. Man's dropping absolute speeches on us on a Monday afternoon. It all happens for a reason, Mikel. He did say at the time when we were bottom of the league, you know, we'll come back better. You know, if he gets top four, he'll be validated with that. On the top four race, he said, to be fair, I don't like to look at the table. We have a lot of games in hand. We're going to play different fixtures, and it's objective. Try and improve on what we've done today for tomorrow, go into the next match, and that's it. Man is dropping absolute speeches on us. Man said Malcone X. Nah. See, even when I'm trying to praise this brother, people trying to draw me out, you know. Malcone X, you know, I'm done. I'm done for the day. Dear. And if Lacazette is playing his best football for us, he said, I think he's had really good moments. In terms of goal scoring records, probably better than what he's doing right now. Oof. Hey! I knew this is why I call him Mickey Ross, you know. Mickey Ross, the boss. Man threw a check hook. Man threw a check hook at Lacazette. Man said, bang! Man dropped the shoulder and straight in the side of his bald head. Yo, why you got to do that to Lacazette, man? Man said in terms of goal scoring records, probably better than what he's doing right now. But for what we ask of him and for what I ask of him and the contribution I need for him, he's doing really, really well. I said, listen, the brother can't score, but you know what? He works hard. Bless him. The Teflon Don, man said, boy, man, he works hard, but where's them goals at? Arteta, new album. Dish track at Arteta, Lacazette. Where's them goals? Track 3. On if he wants to keep Lacazette, he said, it is the case I said to you at the end of the season where we know where we are. We'll sit down with those 3 players and between all of us, we'll decide what we do to move forward. Interesting, because he still says very openly that he wants to keep Eddie Nketiah. He doesn't say the same thing when he talks about Alexander Lacazette. It's almost as if, well, we'll see what competition we're in. Can't score in a brothel in Amsterdam. Loading up the clip and firing. Lacazette was cussing the officials when he came off. He thought it was denied a penalty. It was a blatant pen as well. I think the third player is El Neni. I mean, I'm sorry. El Neni, you don't need a discussion. Shake his hand and say thanks very much. Eddie has some videos of Mikel. He must have. There's no need to be keeping him at Arsenal Football Club. But, hey, listen, big win for Arsenal yesterday. Excellent performance in the top 4, 4th in the league. Big up to each and every one of you for tuning in today. I will be back tomorrow. We're going to get a couple of collabs this week. I'll be doing Champions League watch-alongs in the evening as well. and obviously the Arsenal watch along on Sunday. 1,800 of you in the chat. Big up to each and every one of you for tuning in. Can we hit 1,000 likes? Make sure you watch the Big Six show tonight as well. Saeed's going to get absolutely cooked. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. Arsenal, 3-point collecting, top 4 settings. Enjoy it, people. Are we going to hear that music at Arsenal next season? Dun, 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 dun. Bless people.